Yes, YouTube. We're back for round two. I'm gonna have a little talk today about the news Canelo will be returning against Christian Mbilli in October. For this fight, I'll be honest with you, I've got no complaints. It's a cracking fight. Christian, I think he's a solid fighter, dangerous. He's well conditioned. He punches hard. I don't really know what to call him, to be honest. You couldn't really call him an up and coming prospect or whatever because he's 31 now. How high is the ceiling from this point on? Who knows? But at the minute, he's sitting up there on the top shelf at super middle, and he's earned it from some great performances. He's coming off a draw to Lester Martinez. Personally, I think it was the right call for that fight. I've watched it a few times, scored it differently each way, but I think both fighters that night they showed incredible grit, hunger, pride. Neither man you could say lost that night. I think it'd be unfair to say with the amount of courage both of them showed that any man lost that night. Before that, he was coming off a decent knockout streak. There's some decent names in there. Nothing kind of to write home about. I wouldn't say there was anyone in there that is currently world class. But that's how it goes in boxing. He etched himself with those names into the super middleweight landscape as a rising star. On the flip side, if you look at Canelo, he's probably a falling star at the minute. Once upon a time, he looked like the best fighter in the world, but no man is infallible. You start to slip a little bit in boxing. It's a cruel mistress. Um, I feel like for a long time in a few of his fights, there was signs he might have been dipping a little. There were a few clues and a few different fights on how you could beat him. Even back when he was fighting Billy Joe Saunders, he was getting a runaround for a little while before he finally caught him. But obviously, the man Bivol, he done it. He got it done. He looked sensational. Um, Canelo still he showed a lot of courage in that fight, just going up to that weight, daring to be great. I hold nothing against him for that loss, but he definitely came unstuck against someone of the caliber of Bivol. Since then, you could say he's matched himself favorably, um, kind of building himself back up, taking fights against, guys like Berlanga, Skull, guys I feel like he could kind of impose himself on, kind of get back to doing what he does best. And then obviously recently we had the Canelo Crawford fight. And if you ask me personally, that was a bad loss. As people say, he lost a lot of aura in that fight, I'd say. Crawford is a legend. He's an all-time great, an amazing fighter, one of my favorite. But for the amount of weight, he put on, the weights that he jumped up and putting on the clinic he did against Canelo, I feel like that fight left much to be desired from Canelo. When you look at a performance like that, you start thinking, okay, now is it time? But he's decided for whatever reason he wants to keep going. Maybe he's got more to prove. Maybe the money's just too good. Maybe he genuinely thinks he can come again. I got no arguments. Whatever he decides, he decides. He's done enough in his career to earn the respect that I'd sit there and watch him fight anyone. I'd watch him fight sleep. But the question of the fight now is who wins this one? I think the real question is how far has Canelo slipped? I think that's going to be the question that needs answering because in his day, I feel like Mbilli is tailor made for Canelo. He throws a lot of shots. You can watch his fights back. You see he'll throw a combination and then he'll drop his hands, leave his chin wide open. He'll throw a combination, get caught in the middle of it. He'll throw punches, take punches, and one thing you can say about Canelo is that kind of style is a recipe for disaster if you face Alvarez. It really is. That's his bread and butter. I feel like in the past few years, the past few fights, he hasn't really shown the same knockout power, the same forceful punching that he has, way back then. It's been a long time since Canelo's really stopped someone, really put it on him. He's dropped a few people, but never knocked them out. They've managed to survive. Um, you know, and I feel like his last few decent performances, they were against guys in the same vein as Mbilli, come forward, pressure fighters. As we said, I feel like that's Canelo's bread and butter with his combinations, his accuracy, his precision, his speed. his technical ability, the way he moves his head and body, the way he positions himself, the kind of unorthodox shots he throws. He'll go right uppercut. His variation is incredible. But and on the flip side, I find it hard to imagine kind of Mbilli really stopping or hurting Canelo. I don't think we've really ever seen that happen. Maybe way back when he was younger, but he recovered instantly. That's one thing Canelo's always had: toughness, a chin. That Mexican style. He's got balls, man. So I don't see Mbilli really knocking him out. If he did, I tell you what, that'd be a big shock, and it'd definitely be time to hang him up then. But I don't see Mbilli really outboxing Canelo. That's not his style. I think Mbilli kind of lacks in experience at that kind of level. The best guy he fought was Lester Martinez. Um, that was a trench fight, that was straight up war. So, you know, is Lester Martinez a Canelo? Canelo can go to war, he can dog it out too, but he's smart with it as well. I feel like if Lester Martinez made a few changes in that fight, he would have won that. Instead of just always being there to be hit by Mbilli. If he threw the punches and moved, he could have done it. And Canelo will do that. He will do that. So I feel like maybe Canelo, he might have one last hurrah in him. With this one, I believe he's still crisper, still sharper than Billy. I feel like he's way more accurate, way more precise. Just on form, I'd probably go Canelo, unanimous decision. If there is a knockout, I think he's probably going to come late, but I personally don't see Mbilli getting knocked out. I think he's game bred. I think he's a pit bull. I think he's a dog, and I think he'll be there till the end. He'll put up a great fight. I think he will get beaten up a little bit, maybe. He might take a few too many shots here, and hard shots, accurate shots. It's the shots you don't see coming, but the ones also that, they don't cut you, they land clean. And Canelo's good at landing them. But yeah, that's my opinion on the fight, my opinion on the fighters. You know, let me know what you think, and thanks for listening. See you next time.